all ETFs pay distributions or dividends. Let's start off with what is an ETF distribution. An ETF is a basket of securities. So if the underlying stocks pay dividends, it makes sense that those dividends would then get paid into the ETF. So if dividends is all the excess cash that a company has, then an ETF distribution is all the income that the ETF has. And since an ETF is a basket of securities, there's often more than one source of income. So let's say that your ETF holds stock A, and then it decides to pay a dividend halfway through the year. So that's a source of income. Another source of income is from interest from the cash that the fund holds. And then like your personal tax return, there's also capital gains. This is generated from all the trading that goes in and out of all the underlying stocks in your ETF. And then for Aussie funds, any franking credits that you may receive through the underlying stocks. And then lastly, if it's an international fund, any international earnings or income. And like your personal tax return, then you'll deduct any management fees and any expenses before paying the distributions out. So now knowing what makes up an ETF distribution, it might make more sense that no, not all funds pay distributions because, for example, not all funds or not all underlying holdings in the funds might pay dividends. So you mentioned QAU, so that fund is actually a gold bullion fund. The best way to find out how often an ETF might distribute is to go on the website. So for example, here I'm on the website, QAU's website, and you can see that the distribution frequency is suggested as annual. And these are just suggested because, like I said before, not all funds will pay a distribution. And even if they do, it doesn't mean that they'll always pay at the distribution frequency. So we can see here that the last time QAU actually paid a distribution was back in 2021. If you are after something that pays more distributions, then maybe consider something in the high yield, so Australia high yield or international equity yield, or if you want cash flow, then consider a cash or fixed income fund. And taking Australian high yield funds as an example, if you go to the ETF landscape document, you can see here, not only does it say the ticker and a description of what the fund is and what it's trying to do and what kind of stocks it might hold, it also has the expected distribution frequency there as well. So I'm Lung, ETF Portfolio Manager and your investing buddy. Remember to like and follow to learn more about ETF and investing.